The hunter stepped back into the firelight, and for a moment everything was ordinary. He sat. He warmed his hands. He spoke of the trail. But the shadow he threw against the canvas behind him was not the shadow of a man. It was long and low, and crowned with the round ears of a great cat. No one at that fire said a word. They had all heard what waits in these forests for the men who stay too long. Deep in the western forests of Thailand, near Kanchanaburi, there are shrines you will not find in any guidebook. A spirit house at the edge of the tree line, a tiger's tooth wrapped in red cloth. Hunters and rangers still leave offerings here before they go in among the trees, and they still come back out quieter than they went, because these forests remember a kind of fear that the cities have forgotten. Tonight I want to tell you about it. About the thing that walks on two legs but was never born a man. The tiger that learned to wear a human face. Welcome to Whispers of Siam. I'm your narrator, and this is where the Old Kingdom speaks. Tonight, the story of the Suea Saming. To understand the Suea Saming, you have to understand the forest as the people of Old Siam understood it. In the 1800s, the western mountains were a sea of green that swallowed everything. Beyond the last rice field, the wat, and the lantern light, the jungle began, and the jungle belonged to the tiger. Men entered it the way you enter the house of someone far more powerful than yourself, carefully, and not after dark. The tiger was not simply an animal there. It was a presence, a king with a coat of fire and black ink, who moved without sound and killed without warning. Villagers did not speak its name aloud at night, the way you do not speak the name of something you do not want to hear you. They called it the Lord of the Forest, and they meant it. And from that fear grew the oldest belief of all. They said that a tiger who killed and ate enough people, 100, the elders whispered, would begin to change. The spirits of all those it had devoured would gather inside it, and with them came something the tiger was never meant to have: a human cunning, a human hunger that food could not satisfy, the power to take a human shape. This was the Suea Saming, not a ghost, not a demon summoned from below. Something worse, in a way, because it had crossed a line in the wrong direction. An animal that had eaten so much of humanity that it could now pretend to be one of us. It could stand, it could speak, it could smile, and it could walk into a village at dusk wearing the face of a man you knew. There was a second path to becoming a Suea Saming, and the elders feared it more, because a man chose it. Deep in the forest lived ajarns, masters of wicha, the old occult knowledge. Some of that knowledge was healing, some of it was protection, and some of it, the forbidden kind, taught a man how to leave his own body behind and take the form of a tiger to hunt as the tiger hunts. A hunter might learn it to track game no man could follow. A warrior might learn it to move unseen. The magic worked. That was the terrible part. The man would crouch and speak the words and feel his spine fold and his hands curl into paws. And he would run through the dark on 4 silent feet, faster and stronger than he had ever been. But the wicha came with a rule, and the rule was always the same. To return to human form, the spell had to be reversed exactly, a word forgotten, a ritual broken, a charm lost in the leaves, and the man would be trapped in the body of the tiger, his human mind slowly drowning beneath the animal's hunger, until one day there was no man left inside at all, only the Suea Saming and the memory of having once had a name. So the legend that haunted the hunting camps was this: You go into the forest in a party of 5. You build your fire, you hunt by day, and you sleep close together by night. And one evening, a man walks out of the trees toward your fire, and he has the face of your friend, the one who went missing 3 nights ago. He sits down among you. He answers when you speak. But the men who survived to tell these stories said there was always a tell. Something the tiger could not quite imitate, no matter how many people it had worn. Sometimes it was the feet. The thing would sit with its legs folded beneath it. And if firelight fell the wrong way, you might see that the heels pointed forward and the toes pointed back. A body assembled by something that had only watched men and never been one. Sometimes it was the eating. They would pass it cooked rice and dried fish, and it would hold the food and not touch it, waiting. Because the Suea Saming did not want what was cooked over the fire. It wanted what sat warm and breathing on the other side of the flames. It was simply being patient. And sometimes it was the eyes. A man would look across the fire at his friend's familiar face, and in the pupils he would see 2 points of cold light, catch the flame and hold it, the way no human eye ever holds light, the way only an animal's eyes shine back at you out of the dark. The stories tell of one such camp set deep along the old forest trails. 5 hunters had gone in. On the 4th night, only 4 sat at the fire, and a 5th came walking out of the dark with the easy smile of the man they had lost. They welcomed him. They were so relieved to have him back that they almost let themselves believe. But the oldest hunter among them had spent his whole life in these mountains, and he had learned to trust the cold feeling at the back of his neck. He watched the returned man refuse his food. He watched him sit too still. And when the fire flared, he saw the eye shine. And he understood that his friend had died 3 nights ago, and that the thing wearing his face had been eating its way back toward them ever since. He did not cry out. To run was to be chased, and nothing outruns a tiger in the dark. Instead, he reached slowly for the things the old people had taught him to carry: fire, iron, and the sacred words is inked onto the cloth at his chest, the yantra given to him by a monk before he ever set foot beneath the trees. What happened next, the stories tell in different ways. In some, he thrust a burning branch toward the thing, and it recoiled, because even a tiger that has eaten the souls of 100 men still fears the one thing the forest has always feared: fire. The shape of his friend tore away like wet paper, and a tiger the size of a buffalo crashed back into the trees, screaming with a voice that was almost a human scream. In other tellings, it was the sacred script that saved them, the yantra cloth, the holy syllables, the protection of a faith older than fear. The Suea Saming could not cross it. It circled the camp until dawn, a heavy shape moving just beyond the light. And when the sun came up, it was gone, and so was every footprint, as if the forest had swallowed its own. And there is a sadder version still, one where a holy man tracked the great tiger for days, and when he finally faced it, he did not raise a weapon. He spoke to it. He used the name the creature had carried when it was a man, a hunter, who had learned the wicha and forgotten the way back. And for one moment, the elders say, the tiger's eyes cleared, and something human looked out, ashamed. And then it was gone, back into the animal forever. Because that is the true horror at the center of the Suea Saming. It is not only a monster in the dark, it is a warning about appetite. about the man who reaches for more power than a man is meant to hold, and pays for it by losing the very thing that made him a man. The hunter who wanted to hunt like a tiger and got his wish and could never take it back. The forests of old Siam are full of these lessons, dressed up as monsters. Do not take more than the forest will give. And when a familiar face comes walking out of the dark a little too easily, look at the feet, watch the hands, and remember that the most dangerous things wear the shapes we trust the most. Today, the great forests of the West are quieter than they have ever been. The wild tigers of Thailand have been hunted and crowded to the edge of vanishing. And in many of the places where the Suea Saming was once feared, there are no tigers left at all. The lord of the forest is nearly gone, and there is something haunting in that. For centuries we told stories to protect ourselves from the tiger. Now the tiger needs protecting from us. The hunter and the hunted have traded places. Perhaps that was always the danger the legend warned about. The appetite that does not know when to stop. But walk into those western mountains at dusk, past the last spirit house with its tiger's tooth wrapped in faded red cloth, and the old feeling returns anyway. The light goes long and gold between the trees. Something moves at the edge of sight. And you remember that not every shape that knows your name was born a man. That is the story of the Suea Saming, the tiger that ate enough of us to learn our faces, and the men who wanted its power so badly, they forgot the way home. If this whisper found you tonight, stay for the next one. Whispers of Siam goes deeper into the legends of the Old Kingdom every week. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next whisper.